Unearth is a brand new drama horror. There's a lot of drama. Okay, I'm just going to say that now. This could bore people. And it has kind of a message or, social commentary agenda kind of thing for environmental. So if for some reason that's off-putting to you, I mean, if you don't give a shit about the planet, then I guess this isn't for you. But this is, about fracking. I mean, they even very much put that on the poster. I think it's called like a fracking horror movie or a fracking nightmare or something like that. I think they're trying to play off of the word fucking, but it's very much about, these big companies coming in and wanting to take resources from the land of these people who are struggling. And this guy he's hit hard times. His wife has walked out on him, left him with kids. His teenage daughter has just had a child. He is struggling like a motherfucker. He cannot get anything going. He's like trying to rip off clients that are coming in by, doing more things to their car than they asked for. And they're just like, he's losing his reputation in town because of it, because he's trying to keep food on the table. He's trying to keep his family afloat. And so, this fracking company comes around, and of course his neighbor, played by Adrian Barbeau, of all people, is like hardcore against this. This is our land. These guys can't come in and fuck up our world and our earth and take our land from us. And he, of course, he's on such hard times that he starts to listen to what they have to say. Of course, eventually ends up giving into it. That's how this film plays out, as far as, we know that they're going to be fracking in the area. But really what we focus on here is the hardships of life and family, and, the struggles of not having an income that can support a family like this. This is a true, family story of real consequences for not having a job that can support a family, and all the drama that kind of comes with it, and how people depend on you and how you depend on yourself on making these by being able to take care of everybody. And I actually really, really bought into all of that stuff. I thought the acting was all solid. Yes, it's done slowly. But I think it's very relatable for anybody who's ever struggled financially and is trying to support a family and has ever questioned whether or not they're going to be able to pay rent that week, and looking in people's faces who depend on you and having to tell them, like, I can't do it. I'm trying here, and maybe we're gonna lose the house. Maybe I can't feed you this week. And this, his daughter is depending on him, and there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of hypocrisy of how the daughter treats him when he's trying to help out with the baby and stuff. And you want to yell, but it's very real. This is the kind of stuff that families do, that young girls do. Kids aren't meant to be parents. They're meant to be kids. So there's a lot of emotional struggles there, and I thought the acting from everyone is very good, and that the situations are very believable, and him kind of questioning whether or not he wants to buy into something that everyone's going to kind of shun him in town for makes sense, and how that all plays out makes perfect sense. And then there's kind of the sci-fi horror stuff that goes on towards the end, like what they unearth while fracking and the consequences that it has. And I think that this, of course, is more metaphorical, but it's shown more realistically. And I thought that stuff was good for sure. And this film does feature one of the more fucked up scenes of the year. I was like, wow, that was really wicked. So great on them for that, for having the balls to do that. I thought they were going to take it back for a second, You know, maybe make it a dream sequence, or maybe make it seem like, oh, maybe that's not how they really saw it. Maybe their minds are distorted or whatever. No, no, they don't take it back. And I was like, yes, good. Even though it's really fucked up and I would never want it to happen in real life, you know, if you're going to do something in a movie, commit to it. And you got to take chances and you got to take risks in film. You got to be willing to let people be mad at you or walk out or turn it off and shun your name and whatever. That's okay, as long as it fits the story. You're not just doing it just cause. To be shocking, like, it has a purpose in the film and it works in context within the film because of the consequences of what happens when you sell out to something like this. But yeah, man, I really liked this. I really like this a lot. Now, when the ending happens, it's very much like better pay very close attention, because I missed it. I actually had to rewind it. I was like, what am I missing here? Like, that's it? And then I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, and I didn't know exactly how I felt about it at the time, and I'm honestly not sure I still do know how I feel about the ending. I felt like maybe there could have been a little more to it, maybe, but then I'm thinking, no, the film's subtle. And the ending is kind of subtle. And it's really more just, you know, foreshadowing or, you know, just casting this degree of doubt and question, like, what does that mean? Okay, and it's a little thought-provoking. Yeah, I thought this was a really good family drama that has horror consequences, and the horror, while not, you know, overt and in your face the whole movie, I think it's kind of a lingering threat that you know is coming. It doesn't come until much, much later on in the film. You would think this was just a family drama for the first hour, but that's the kind of horror I love. You know, I've talked about how the horror that I've loved, especially in the last 15, 20 years, the ones that I really love are family dramas, like, and with horror in them. Hereditary, of course, being the primary example. My favorite horror movie of the last fucking 20 years, and maybe one of my top 5 favorite horror movies of all time. I love that shit. Or even Midsommar, which is obviously about a girl's family and her, you know, finding a new one. I love that shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I very much bought into this. I bought into the characters. I bought into the situation, and definitely something I would watch again. I dug this. I thought this was really cool, but it's going to bore people. And there's other people who are going to think like, oh God, like they're just trying to be, you know, they're just trying to send out some message against this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's what filmmakers do. They have, you know, an idea and they roll with it. I don't think that this is super heavy-handed in that way. It's just, you know, what happens when you start fracking the earth and what lies beneath, you know. It's just something to ponder. But yeah, I dug that stuff. I dug the horror when it happened, very, very lightly, but I dug it. And then that fucked up scene really sold me, and I was like, wow. And there's a lot of good tension and drama between the neighbors, between, you know, the dad and the daughters. He has 2 daughters. There's like a love triangle going on here. Adrian Barbeau is actually pretty damn good in this. When I saw she was in it, you know how like B-list horror actors kind of just take a paycheck, and I saw that and I was like, oh no, here we go. Like anytime I see like a Michael Berryman or like a Tony Todd or like any of those guys in a horror movie, I'm like, oh God, is this going to be dreadful? Or Kane Hodder or anything. You know that you're rolling the dice when you see those names, because a lot of those guys are just like, I'll star in anything for, you know, my daily rate. And it very much feels like that at times. Not this one though. This one was pretty damn good, and I think it'll be overlooked because people find it to be slow, boring bullshit, and I didn't find it to be that at all. Not if you buy into the characters and what's going on. I think it's solid film that's just a little more subtle and not trying to be super, you know, over the top in the ending. Let me know if you watch it. Adios.